Americans are divided on a lot. It might seem at times like everything, but occasionally you find something that we all can agree on, whether you're red or deepest blue. And according to the most recent results from a Pew Research Center poll, there is one thing we agree on. Most Americans are not happy about the situation we're cruising into come November. 2/3 of Americans polled think that both our current options for president are, in their words, embarrassing, which is probably not how you want things to go for like the most advanced democracy in America or in the world. So majorities describe both of them as embarrassing, with identical shares, 63% each, saying this about each candidate. I don't think those should be equal, but that's how it looks right now. A third or more of each candidate's supporters, 37 for Biden, 33 for Trump, say their own candidate is embarrassing. So a lot of this is people on the opposite side of the aisle being embarrassed by the other guy, which is sort of understandable. Think about literally anything Donald Trump has said or done. It's best case scenario embarrassing. Worst case scenario, horrifying and fascistic. But anyway, here's some more information from this poll. 87% say that so far the campaign does not make them feel proud of the country. 76% say it's not focused on important policy debates. And 68% describe the campaign as too negative. Which I think that last one's kind of interesting. I'm not sure that this is one of the most negative campaigns ever, partly because right now Trump is being really hands off with Joe Biden. And Joe Biden is being negative towards Trump, I guess. But Joe Biden's the sort of politician that he's never gonna go as hard against a Trump as a lot of other people would. He's like more of that old school sort of we should be polite kind of guy. Yeah. So I don't think this is the most negative campaign, but I think a lot of those other negative characteristics can accurately apply to it. What do you think?
Thanks for watching. Our audience has helped build TYT into the media giant it is today. Together, we can accomplish anything. Support our work and join us at tyt.com/team.
Yeah, I mean, I think reality is being more negative to both Donald Trump and Joe Biden than either of them could be against one another. The question is, who is more effective at pointing out that reality? And I think Joe Biden has to point out the reality that Donald Trump is a convicted felon, and that he stole classified documents and kept them home like a show and tell from Mar-a-Lago in his bathroom. I mean, it's endless with this guy, right? There's so many things to hit him on. You can dunk all day. You are LeBron James. There is no one defending you. Go, go, go. And he is unable to do that. And again, Joe Biden's going up against the master of pomp and spin, the master of bluster, right? Say what you about Trump. He is a master of bluster, and all Joe Biden has, he doesn't even have it this time around. He had, will you shut up, man? And now he just has, there's a migrant that raped, what are you doing? But look, the reality is it's embarrassing. It is embarrassing, and this country deserves a lot better than these two candidates, which is why even Republicans know if one of them were to be swapped out, that would be a huge boost to whichever party that was. It's not gonna be the Republicans, unless some kind of divine intervention, as Joe Biden has clearly called for, or unless Biden, takes up the Supreme Court on the whole like immunity for crimes thing. You never know.
King. Maybe make Trump decide in practice between the electrocution and the shark. Just a joke, don't arrest me. Yes.
Trump gets drugged, wakes up in a metal boat. There's a shark. I mean,
a really heavy boat because of the battery. Let's be clear,
yeah.
It's super heavy.
Sinking.
Yeah, and so look, people are saying it's embarrassing. Some people are probably watching this and saying, well, yeah, but they're not the same. Obviously, come on, do we need to clarify that they're worlds apart? Obviously, they're very different. And by the way, to the Republicans who are delighted in the situation the Dems find themselves in, where like, they're trying to figure out if they can replace him or not. They probably won't be able to. Like, the joke is on you too, because if you actually had the cojones to replace your guy with like a Nikki Haley or whoever, you'd win in a landslide, you doinks, okay? So yeah, glass houses. That said, I want to jump ahead to another aspect of how people evaluate, real fast, what were you gonna say?
Real fast, I will say 78% of those polled say that neither candidate has spoken to the issues that matter to them. That's absolutely right on the money. I mean, the two candidates spent more time discussing their golfing and like which one had more of a handicap than they did about a Palestinian state or about climate change. You saw time and time again them deflect, especially Donald Trump, deflect, but Biden, by the fact that he couldn't get his mouth around the words, deflect on issues that matter to people. And then they just evolved into like, I got a negative, golf stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it sounds
like. Anyway, look, I think that Biden definitely talks more about the economy. And at the debate, he had trouble, but he was trying to talk about inflation and about jobs and about some of the investments and stuff.
He was really good at all the things he wasn't able to articulate, if you ask me.
But in theory, it was good. Meanwhile, Trump talks about one policy. He randomly thought up, what if we didn't tax tips? And now he's running. Let's really fast jump to graphic 6, I believe, because I want to talk about another way that people are evaluating these candidates. So here you see over the last few years, how evaluations of how mentally sharp the candidates are has gone. And you see over gradual decline. I was gonna say accelerating decline. It's only a little bit accelerating. It's been going down for a few years, Joe Biden, whereas Trump's number has gone up. And I think this right here might low-key be the wildest chart I've ever seen in my life. It has to be by comparison. Because if a significant percent think that Trump is sharper than he was, he thinks Hannibal Lecter's a real person who supports him for president. So, and sharks and electrocutions, and do I need to go on with the windmill cancer? And I don't understand how people could possibly think that. Now, that said, there's a little bit of good polling news here for Joe Biden, and that is that in the most recent NPR poll that was just released, I think within an hour before we went live, Biden is actually up over Trump, 50-48. It's within the margin of error, but he's a couple points ahead of where he was in the same poll a few weeks back. So that is good news. And as I've said, I've been watching the polls. There's been bad polling information, particularly in the battleground states for Joe Biden. Some of the national stuff is not as apocalyptic coming out of the debate as I would have predicted and perhaps did predict. That said, he was already doing poorly, and the battleground states are the more important ones. But final thoughts about all this.
Yeah, I mean, I think the polls may even out the longer we go from the debate, and the more dug in Joe Biden becomes, right? And then we all just sort of like, protect him, and that's it. And we go with that. I don't know, John. The battleground states are the only ones that matter. And sadly, again, the way that he got the battleground states, the way that he flipped Georgia, that was all voter turnout. That was voter turnout from young people, from people of color. That was volunteers, that was grassroots organizations who felt energized. They mobilized their bases, they mobilized their people. And what I'm hearing now is that those folks aren't around anymore. They're around, but it's very difficult to get them to make those calls, to mobilize their bases, to get folks out, to write the cards, to and maybe it'll happen. Maybe the operation will come up, come together very, very quickly. But it would not come together as quickly as if there was a candidate with real energy behind them.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and if it is not clear, and based on me looking at Twitter occasionally, it is not clear. We just do not want Donald Trump to win in November.
Yeah,
we can disagree about the strategy to get there. That is the goal, and that should not be up for debate.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.